Let's just dive right into it. We all know the role you've played with the college football playoff. This is the first year of the expansion. We see where it's headed. I'm a huge fan of it. I love that it's made. We were discussing Memphis versus Navy this week, and we're like, this game has college football playoff implications.
Correct.
That had to be the thought process. We want games like that to matter.
Absolutely. I thank you for that, Brian. I am very excited about it. Of course, we worked very, very hard going back to 2019, actually, when this whole conversation started among the board members of the College Football Playoff Board of Managers. And you would think it would be simple, but it was not. It was very complex. A lot of issues had to be resolved, dealing with our bowl partners and then just special interest of our members. And, of course, the group of 5 schools, they had to be accommodated in all of this. And it was a lot of work by a lot of people, but we got it done. And I'm thrilled that this is the year, finally, after so much hard work, that we're going to have our very first 11-game, 12-team college football, giving opportunities for more student athletes to compete for their nation's championship. And that's what this is about. It will create tremendous – it already has. As you just mentioned, here we are in the third week of football, and people are still are all in with their respective teams, anticipating that they've got a shot to make it into the national tournament, into the playoff. And so that's what we wanted. And as we get more over into the season, the hype and the excitement of our regular season games is just going to keep going up and up and up as teams are maneuvering and trying to make their way into the playoff. And then the playoffs are going to be tremendous, and I'm excited about that.
From our perspective, we have been talking about, expand the playoff for years. We've been doing that for years.
Right.
It's so easy, but it was not anything close to easy, was it?
It was not. And you've got the bowls, our 6 playoff bowl, our partners, wonderful partners, but they all have certain issues that had to be addressed. I'll just say, the Rose Bowl was probably the most difficult challenge we had to work out for them because they love playing on New Year's Day. They love that afternoon game. And so to accommodate that in this playoff with semifinals, with quarterfinals and semifinals that are now part of the mix that hasn't been in the mix, it was a challenge. And then, of course, everything had to be unanimous. We're changing a contract. We're in year 11 of the original 12-year contract for the CFP. And in our bylaws, it says that anytime we change anything, it has to be 100% unanimous. Well, that gives every member of the board a lot of power to negotiate a little special interest that they may have. And anyway, a lot of work, a lot of negotiations. And then we got to the final day of our vote, I'll never forget, and we had one of our board members say, well, no, let's put this off. And it was really heartbreaking because so much work had gone into it. And it was the start of the football season last year. It was the first week. It was the week of game day of the first football season game last year. And I said, no, we're going to vote today. We're going to vote. And if you need to vote against it, then you vote against it. But everyone in the college football media world, they know we're here today to approve the playoff. And if you're prepared to go outside the room and announce and tell and explain to everyone in the college football world why you voted no, then you have that prerogative to do it. But we're going to vote right now. We're going to vote. We called the roll, and it was unanimous. And I was very relieved, and we were able to move forward. And here we are to this season, and it's just going to be tremendous.
I believe in the political world, we would call that the whip.
Well, it was, it just so much work had gone into it, and we had addressed so many board member issues. Again, I can't really adequately explain all that went into this, but we got it done, and I'm thrilled. I was had a little bit to do with it, and I'm hopeful for my team to someday, hopefully next year for sure, have a chance to compete and be in the playoff.
Well, you took a big step towards that yesterday. We've talked to Zach Selman. We've talked to Charlie Winfield. Now we'll talk to you. An $8 million gift to Mississippi State. What does that gift mean for the future of the football program?
To football specifically, second largest gift in our program history. And, Brian, it's about resources. And we've stressed that point. I think you've had Charlie Winfield with our Bulldog Initiative, and we're so blessed. We've got a loyal, passionate fan base, and I am the number one fan of our football team and all of our programs in athletics. I love our athletic programs. And, it takes resources, and we've been blessed. And this gift is another example of the faith that this particular donor and others have in our program, in our coach, in our athletics director, and in our program. Is this a bump in the road right now? It absolutely is. Can we get through this? Absolutely we can, and we will. And I'm committed to doing all that I can do in our administration to support all of our athletic programs, but football is important. It is the sport that drives everything, and not only on our campus but across all the nation. It's football, and we want to be competitive, and I want our team to be in the college football playoff, and I'm not going to rest until we are.
So to that end, what's your message to Mississippi State? Because I think we know at this point this is going to be a tough season. We're going to fight and grind our way through it, and we'll get there. But this year is going to be tough. What's your message to Bulldog fans about staying the course?
Yeah, stay faithful. Support our team, support our coach. Coach Levy is a great coach. He's a visionary. I've had the chance to go out to practice and watch them work, to be in the locker room with them. He's a coach that commands their respect, and I admire that. He is a very offensive-minded coach. He is a proven coach. We got to help him with the resources he needs to be able to compete at this level. Look, the SEC is the highest level there is. There is no higher level than the SEC. And the competition is just going up and up and up. And so we've got to regrip and move forward, and we are. So just, we've been through a lot these last few years. We've had some highs, we've had some lows, and we've had some very sad times in the last few years, and especially when we lost Coach Mike Leach. And to emphasize the impact that that's had on us, it's hard to really emphasize that, but it did. That really affected our program, recruiting, and a lot of things that impacted that. So, but we're back on track. We've got a vision, we've got a plan, and we're blessed to have great, loyal fans who are stepping up and showing that by their support. I've been with our Bulldog Club board members this afternoon. I just left a meeting with them, and tonight we're having a big event, the Crystal Society meeting tonight, and these are our donors and supporters of athletics. It's a big event we're hosting on campus. It's in Davis Wade Stadium tonight in the Gridiron Club. And again, these are individuals that are stepping up, showing their support, and providing the resources that we need to be competitive. And I am just so deeply appreciative of all the wonderful support that we're receiving. So let's stay the course, let's believe and have faith, and let's support our program and move forward. Well, it is real. It's a national population decline in that age group of young people. And looking at the projections, actually our high school graduation population is actually going to tick up a little bit next year, but then it starts going down pretty dramatically. And by 2028, you're going to see a really steep decline in that age group of high school graduates. And high school graduate age students are who go to college. And so when you see a really stark decline like we're going to see all across the nation, it gets your attention. And so, but we are well prepared. We're working on that. We've got great plans in place and how we're doing our recruiting and messaging and our branding and all the things that that's involved in that. And, we're fortunate that here at Mississippi State, 65% of our students come from the state of Mississippi, and I love that fact. I love that we are the number one choice of a high school graduate who goes to a 4-year school. They choose to go to Mississippi State. We're the number one by far, and we want to continue to be the university that serves the state, serves our young people in the state. But we recognize that our state, like a lot of states, population of that age group is declining, and we want to keep growing. We will keep growing in Mississippi numbers, but we also want to keep growing. We're going to have to bring in more out-of-state students. And part of our strategic plan is in our out-of-state recruitment, and we're seeing those numbers go up every year, the number of out-of-state students coming to Mississippi State. And so that's part of our plan to address what you just described as this real population decline called the cliff.
And, of course, I'm not going to ask you to get political, but because of politics, some southern universities are really getting more attention from people that are not from the South. Are you noticing that Mississippi State's getting an uptick of out-of-state interest from places that may surprise people?
Yes, it is, and I think we're going to see more and more of that. Southern schools tend to be a bit more, conservative, tend to be more not engaged in a lot of the things that you're seeing on college campuses across the country. And it's frightening for a lot of parents to see what's happening on these campuses and some of the things that these students are exposed to. And they are absolutely looking for alternatives so they can get a quality, tremendous education to prepare their young son or daughter to do anything they want to do and be successful in the world, and do it in a safer, more inviting environment. And I think that schools across the South, Mississippi State, we pride ourselves in being one of the most friendly, welcoming, nurturing campuses anywhere. And yes, we're getting a lot of students from a lot of those states, primarily out west and in the Northeast.
I always ask, whenever we talk to athletic people, like, what's new in terms of facilities and so on? From the academic side, what's new at Mississippi State now?
Well, we have a lot going on. We're building a beautiful it's the Duff Center, Jim and Tommy Duff Center. It's a huge facility right in the heart of the campus. It will be the home to our kinesiology program, which is the largest academic program we have at Mississippi State. It's also going to be the home to our renowned autism and developmental disability programs. Awesome. It's a wonderful program and wonderful facility. We're also building a new residence hall. Our university is growing. We've got more students. We're going to be up several hundred students in enrollment this year. I wish I had that residence hall open this year, but it will be open in time to admit our class of 2025 freshman students next year. Beautiful new 412-bed residence hall. It'll have a dining facility in it. It's going to be actually an Italian restaurant that will be in there. And we're going to have the state's only FEMA-certified storm shelter for our campus community will be in that facility. And we're building a new state-of-the-art high-performance supercomputing center out in our research park. And the supercomputers that we're bringing, we're ranked number 4 in the nation in supercomputing, Mississippi State, 4th ranked university in the country. And we're building a facility that will house some of the world's fastest supercomputers when we get this facility finished. It will be finished sometime around, next summer.
I love when you talk about these new facilities for residents, and I think about living in Sessoms Hall when I was a freshman.
It's still good.
It's still up and running, but we didn't have an Italian restaurant.
No.
I promise you that. When you think about, we were talking to Paige earlier, and Michael was talking about his first trip here was in 2011 and how much it changes, and I told him it changes year to year here at Mississippi State, but at the same time, it's still Starkville, it's still Mississippi State. You still have that feeling of home. What is it about Mississippi State in your eyes that makes it able to change but stay the same?
Well, it's our culture. It's our people. It's who we are. As I mentioned earlier, we're a very friendly, very welcoming community. We're very diverse. We've got students from every single state, every community across Mississippi. 90 different nations are on our campus. But the one thing that I tell people as they look at the diversity and all the differences that we have, and we're all here, big melting pot, we all share one thing in common at Mississippi State. We're all Bulldogs. And that means something on our campus, because we as Bulldogs in our community and our family, we look out for one another and we care for one another and we love one another. That is the culture of Mississippi State. You were asking about why families from other parts of the country would want to come here, because of who we are. And we're a caring community. And it's a high-quality institution. renowned research university, offering tremendous opportunities for students that they can't get at a lot of these other so-called select universities. They can do it here and be in a wonderful, caring, nurturing environment. So that makes it very special. The community, our town and gown is just phenomenal. I'm glad you met with our mayor, Lynn Spruill. She is a superstar. She is passionate about our community, passionate about our university. You know, this is my hometown. This is where I was born. I was born in Starkville. This is my home. And I want nothing but what's great for this community, because if it's good for Starkville, it's good for Mississippi State. If it's good for us, it's great for the city and for the community. So we work closely together. And you've seen a lot of changes. You haven't seen anything yet. This place is about to really take off with some tremendous changes in our city and on our campus. This is a high-energy, exciting community with a lot of great things that are happening and are going to continue to happen here going forward.
I want to loop sports back into this because clearly you were very influential in a big welcomed change in college football with the 12-team playoff. There's this settlement that we've talked about a lot involving revenue sharing and trying to settle that lawsuit and bring that on. Were you involved in that as deep as you were with the 12-team playoff? And do you have any insight onto when that day will come or anything on that front?
I've been living this lawsuit for the last 2 years and working with our lawyers for the SEC, our internal, our external lawyers, working in negotiations with the plaintiff attorneys who brought and started this process about former athletes not getting NIL benefits and providing benefits to current and future athletes. And we've entered into a settlement, as you know, with the plaintiffs. And 2 weeks ago, we presented the settlement to Judge Claudia Wilkin in San Francisco, Northern District of the Ninth Circuit Court, in anticipating that she would give a preliminary ruling in favor so we could continue to move forward and make progress. And she, to all of our surprise, she had some concerns about the settlement. One of the real concerning issues that she raised was that she felt like that maybe, because see, we were all agreeing to provide $20+ million out of our athletic budgets in direct payments to our athletes. There are not many collectives anywhere that are putting $20 million into their athletes and support, but we're making that commitment. But she raised a concern saying that we ought to allow the payments and allow the collectives to continue to raise money and provide an additional payments. We said that defeats the whole purpose of the settlement. You know, the collectives are not to be going out and raising private money to pay players on top of the money that we're paying. We agree the NIL will continue, but it will be an NIL that is based on a fair market value for a student athlete to promote a product, a good or a service for a company, and have that assessed as a fair market value, but not going out and raising money from big donors and then to pay astronomical amounts of monies to athletes on top of what the universities are paying the athletes. Allow them to get on NIL, but not do it through a collective. So that was that has been really concerning. And then she also said that she felt like that this is a 10-year settlement. We're agreeing to pay $200+ million over 10 years. All of our Power 4 schools are agreeing to do that. And she's saying, well, maybe we ought not allow that in light of allowing students to get these payments. So anyway, we're very concerned that she's raising these issues here in the 11th hour. Thursday, we're going to have another meeting with her, and hopefully that we'll get her to move forward with it.